So obviously, ton of success last year, 11 wins, the best season in program history. How do you turn the page? How do you top it?
Well, you got to turn the page because that's life. Life moves on, doesn't wait on anybody, right? And, everybody's got to start over. Every team in the country. 0-0, earn not given. They'll get out what they put in, pay the price. You got to develop, you got to have the right people in the program, coaches and players, develop them, have blueprint plan for success, day-to-day consistency, form the intangibles. And then, the season is a marathon, not a sprint. So you got to be able to handle success, failure, complacency, all those things. It's humble and hungry versus noise and clutter every single day.
For a place that hasn't had that type of success before and you're trying to make it consistent, and like, what do you do in the off season to help build, to help sustain, help do all of the things that you just talked about at a place that hasn't really had that challenge before?
Well, in the off season, you're working every single day on things that affect program success, whether it's recruiting, strength and conditioning, opponent studying other offenses, defenses, special teams, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Trying to improve your processes, methods. I said last year when you take over a place that hadn't been successful, you got to change the way people think, on the inside and the outside. Some of that still goes on because one season doesn't make a program, right? And I got to make sure I don't fall into the warm fuzzies and be afraid to rock a boat now and then, because progress only happens sometimes when, there's some sort of conflict or stress. So it's not easy, and it takes resources. And you got to be in the top third of the Big Ten in resources in terms of things that help determine program success.
So you guys lost to Notre Dame first round of the college football playoff. You don't strike me as like a moral victories kind of guy. So what do you take from that performance, that game? What was like the next day like?
Yeah. It's kind of like going to Ohio State, right? And we lost to number 1 and number 2 on the road. But you take your notes. Very disappointed in the way we played. Notre Dame's a good football team. They proved to be a good football team. They played well. But we didn't play well. And it all starts with me. And you file away the notes. You can't dwell on it every single day to the point where it becomes a negative in terms of what you're trying to get done down the road. I've learned those lessons as a young coach. So, next time you're at bat at the plate, hit a home run, start striking out.
So this offseason, I feel like it was maybe the most underrated, but perhaps most impactful quarterback transfer. You guys adding Fernando Mendoza from Cal. He had such a prolific offense last year. How did he become the right guy to take the reins for now?
We had the younger brother, so I knew of him and I watched all his Cal stuff. And, he's played a lot of football, played a lot of good football. And, he's big, tall, mobile, quick arm, quick release, can make all the throws. He's got some things he's got to work on in this game. He knows that. But he really finished the last 5 practices, spring ball, strong. And I have a lot of confidence in him. And so, we've been in that transfer quarterback world now for about my last 5 seasons. And they all start out spring ball a little slow, pick it up the last half, have good summers, have a lot better fall camps, and build on early successes. I expect him to do the same.
So tell me a little bit more about his skill set, like what we're going to see out of him when he's wearing an Indiana jersey.
Well, hopefully a lot of completions, first downs, touchdowns, no interceptions, fumbles, right?
Yep, not
things like
0.
that. Well, 0 would be nice. I'll take 0. Good decision making, right? Poise under pressure, good in the critical moments. We want to play. We play every play, one play at a time, 6 seconds. A player played out a life in the history of its own. Fast, physical, relentless, smart, disciplined, poised, not affected by success and failure, never satisfied till the end of the game. The reason we try to play like that, and we practice that way too, is so that at the end of the game, when you're in those tight ball games, right, you're not looking at the scoreboard getting a little tight. You're just doing what you've been trained to do, okay? So, big third downs, big fourth downs, 2-minute drives. I'm looking for him to make progress every drill, and put it on the field on Saturdays.
So he's obviously a very smart kid, and he's been very entrepreneurial. Did you know the story about how he was selling mangoes as a kid? He was getting them from the grocery store, or trying to beat the grocery store sale price?
I heard about it recently. I did not.
Alberto is part of it as well.
It's a very unique family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about having both brothers on the team, their dynamics, how that helped bring Fernando to Bloomington.
Well, the first time I talked to Alberto about it, he said, well, he can stay here 1 year and then go to the NFL, or I'm transferred. I said, okay. But because Fernando has 2 years of eligibility left. Mm-hmm. And right now, Alberto's the backup. Now, Alberto's going to have to win the backup job. He's going to have to win that job. But he's a good prospect. And they're both extremely confident, intelligent guys. And that comes from a great family. And, they're great for the community of Bloomington, the football program, the university. And I think they can lead us some victories, too.
So last year when you came to Indiana, you brought a bunch of JMU guys with you. And I feel like we talked a lot during the year about how that helped set the culture, expectations, the way that you and your staff did things. A bunch of them are still there. How helpful is that, again, as you're working on this foundation you want to be lasting?
It's helpful. And, there's not as many, obviously.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of other guys on the team that are good leaders and have the right stuff. Guys that we retained or guys that we brought in, like Pat Coogan from Notre Dame. So the key to the drill to me is this team needs to be really humble and hungry and eliminate all the noise and the clutter. And they got to be starving for success. And then we got to have a good core group of leadership that can promote that unity during tough times. For instance, last year, first offensive scrimmage wasn't a great scrimmage. It was pretty poor. I didn't think a whole lot of it because the first offensive scrimmage is usually pretty bad. Well, Curtis Rourke, Justice Ellison, and Mike Kadick got the offense together the next day. I didn't know that. Okay. And ironed some things out, got everybody on the same page. And after that, the offense really kind of took off. Okay, that's a great example of leadership. So,
are people patting them on the back too much this offseason? Feels like everyone around the program, the players, you're worried about that complacency, right? Or people not being tough when they need to be tough on them?
Well, I think it's a natural thing and a guy in my position to be concerned about. And when you have a community, a town, and a program that had one like that in 126 years, they might take 3 years to celebrate it, right? Yeah. We don't have 3 years. We got to be ready to go again. And but we will be.
So week 4, you guys are facing off against Illinois. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a big game and kind of a statement game probably for both sides. What is it like to go up against a Brett Bielema coach team?
I don't know. I've never played Brett Bielema.
What do you expect?
I expect it's going to be the 4th game of the year. We're going to have a great crowd. They're going to be loud. We're going to be well prepared and play well.
What was the most surprising part of last year's run to you? Did anything surprise you as it happened?
Well, the most surprising thing to me last year was the opener when we had a 3-score lead at halftime and came out for the second half, and half the people had left. I was like, where is everybody? I just couldn't get that out of my head the whole second half. And so I addressed it, and then, we got rolling. We came back from UCLA, and, we packed that place and sold it out, and they were awesome. It was way over the top. And so, we changed culture in a short and, mindset in quick amount of time.
Yeah, they became football fans.
Yeah, a football school. There'll be a football school. 90% of your money in athletic comes from football, right?
Last year you made some guarantees, right? You were saying you're going to play in Big Ten championship game. Almost did. Anything for us this year?
I thought, I threw all that stuff out there last year. I did, set an expectation level and wake some fans up and create some interest. And, I don't really particularly feel like today at this very moment I need to do that quite as much, but that doesn't mean a week from now or a month from now I won't have to. You do what the situation calls for. And, I think as coaches, we're all still learning about this football team because, we brought 22 portal guys in and, a lot of these guys, we don't know them quite as well as we know those JMU guys. So we're still learning about them. I think we got a lot of nice pieces on this football team, but now we got to make big time progress in fall camp.
Do you think people are taking Indiana football more seriously?
I don't know. I don't really care. You mean people, when you say people?
The rest of the college football world, other programs, fans.
People in the know, there's no doubt about it, yes. Now, if you can get on social media, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you know, it's all said and done. I mean, Vegas has us at 8.5 wins, right? I guess that answers the question.